So we have questions that are represented on the right hand side. So I'll be going step by step into answering these questions and how you find the solutions for them. Right. So basically in the right hand side, in the first question says, in the accompanying figure, pxy is a point in a Cartesian plane. Right. So it says point P, which has coordinates of xy, is a point in a Cartesian plane, right? And then further on says that XOP is 220 degrees, right? So it says XOP is 220 degrees, right? And then it says OP is 20 units, and then it says OP is equals to what? 20 units, guys. Right. And then it says the first question says use the calculator to determine the coordinates of P. Right. So you should use a calculator to determine what? The coordinates of P. Right. So first of all, I would like to represent this information in the graphical format. Right. So in a Cartesian based format. Right. So this is our Cartesian plane. So this is 0 degrees to 360 degrees, and then this is our 90 degrees, then this is 180, and this is 270 degrees. Right. So this is our plane, this is our O, our point O. Okay, and this is our value of x, and this is our value of y. Right. So it says that there's a line called OP. Right. This is the line OP, and it says the coordinates of P are represented as x and y. Right. And we are told that OP, which is the line OP, is 20 units. Right. So now what you do is that we need to draw a vertical line to the x-axis, right? And then you need to draw the vertical line in such a way that it's going to be perpendicular to the what? It's going to be perpendicular to the horizontal line, right? So meaning that the value of y, the y line, it's going to be the vertical line is going to be perpendicular to the horizontal x-axis, right? So now it says that we should find should calculate or determine the coordinates of P, right? And we are told that basically that the angle between x-axis and the point of OP it's 220 degrees, right? So basically how we deal about this is that, right? So now the first question, how do we find the coordinates of P? Right. So for me to be able to see the coordinates of P, let's first look for x, right? We know through the trigonometric ratios, to find the value of x would be what? Would be adjacent over hypotenuse, right? For us to use a trigonometric ratio where we're gonna have the x value as the factor in our equation, what we have to use cos 220 over x, right? So it says that almost the trigonometric ratio of cos 220 degrees, it would be x, which is the adjacent side, over hypotenuse, which is 20 units, right? So let's find x. So to be able to find x, we'd multiply both sides by 20 units to get rid of the denominator, right? So that we can have x on each side as the subject of the formula, right? So it says 20 cos 220 is equals to x, right? So let's use the calculator to find the value of x. So what to be 20 cos 220. So basically the value of x is the value of x is minus 15 32 units, minus 15,32 units, right? So we have found the value of x, guys. So the value of y would be what? Would be 20, no, it would be sine 220 degrees is equals to what? It is equals to opposite over hypotenuse, right? So the opposite side is what? Because now we're dealing with what? We're dealing with y, so it's going to be opposite over hypotenuse, which is what? Sine 20 opposite of hypotenuse, right? So it's going to be sine 220 degrees is equals to y over hypotenuse, right? So the same thing we did on the previous question is what we do here, just to multiply by the denominator to get rid of what? To get rid of 20. So we cancel 20 out, so we're left with what? With 20 sine 220 degrees is equals to y, right? So basically these are easy questions, guys. But this question basically was easy because it was testing your knowledge in terms of what? The trigonometric ratios, right? So it's gonna be 20 sine 220, which is minus 12,86, which is what? Minus 12,86 is equals to y. So therefore y is equals to minus 12,86 units. Alright, so the important takeaway in this question is that you need to be able to understand what? You need to be able to understand the trigonometric ratios first. Basically that's all that you need to understand. Understand the trigonometric ratios, that when it says when we saying sine of an angle, we're actually referring to what? To the opposite side over hypotenuse, right? And guys, also mind you that this type of questions where you say sine is equal to opposite of hypotenuse, which only refer to what? To a triangle where there's what? There's 90 degrees in it, right? It's only referred to angles, to the triangles where there are angles that are equal to 90 degrees, right? For you to be able to calculate and find the sides of, to be able to calculate the sides of triangles that do not have a 90 degree angle, we use different different formulas, like, okay, like we use the sine rule, we can use the cos rule, right? But as the content of this question, or focusing on the content of this video, we're gonna be focusing on what we are supposed to know, right? As time goes on, I'll try to explain the sine rule, the cos rule as time goes on, guys, right? So yeah, this is type of question. You need to understand that cosine is what? It's opposite of a hypotenuse, which is the very important one. You need to understand that cos an angle is equals to what? Adjacent over hypotenuse, right? And then tan would be what? Tan would be tan of an angle would be what? Would be adjacent, would be opposite over adjacent, right? So basically in terms of what? In terms of values, or in terms of coordinates, this would be what? The sine opposite of a hypotenuse would be what? Would be y over what? Over hypotenuse. And then this one would be what? Would be x over hypotenuse, right? And this would be what? Would be y over x, right? So as long as you understand these things, guys, then you're good to go to this type of question.